Hi everybody, Pedro with the LTS, and this week's video is going to be a comparison between two of my favorite competition guns. Okay, so you have a Beretta DT11 right against the BR460. Now this video is not going to be all which gun is better, because when it gets to the competition level, again, find the right gun is right for you, because they are different feeling, different sizes, and different swings. So this video is going to be about the differences between the two, that hopefully, if you are in doubt on which gun to go with, will clarify some things for you and help you make the right choice for your shooting style. Okay, so BR460 versus DT11. Very different guns. One's a Beretta, one's a Rizzini, both Italian guns. I have shot them both, and I'm going to tell you the differences between the two. So let's start here. On the very starting point, Beretta DT11, of course, has been around for a long time. I made tons of videos about it on the variations, comparing to 694 and so on. So if you're interested in learning more than this video, go back to the previous videos and watch the DT11 stuff that I have created. The DT11 is the competition gun for Beretta, for now at least, until the SO2 I think it will take over. But for now, the DT11 is the competition gun for Beretta. And the BR460 from Rizzini, it is the competition gun for Rizzini. Why they are the competition guns? Because in my opinion, as you saw before, in order to be considered a competition gun, you need to last at least, I would say, 20,000 rounds between services to be a high volume shooting gun. So we're gonna start on the size of the stocks and quality of the stocks that you're gonna get for each. On the DT11, as you can see, on the BR460, you are gonna get about grade 3, 3.5 wood on both guns. Again, the wood is up to the grader's eye. So when these guns are at the factory, you might get lucky and squeeze a grade 4 when you see it out on the shelf, but naturally they are gonna come with a 3, 3.5. The fore ends, they are different. On the Beretta DT11, you're gonna have a schnabel forend, and on the Rizzini, you're gonna have a rounded forend. The stock configurations, both guns will come right or left-handed, with or without adjustable comb. So let's start by the dimensions on these guns. DT11, you have two different stock dimensions. Okay, you have on this gun, for example, 1 3/8 by 2 1/4, or you can have a DT11 1.5 by 2 3/8. These are drops at the comb and at the heel. Where on the Rizzini, you have 1.5 by 2.5. Now, how do I know that? Because I just measured them both to make sure which gun was what. So it's very important. These specific guns are like that. Now, stocks are made by CNC machines, so they're all gonna come all the same from the factory, with small little differences because they need to be sanded down, finish it. So you might have a 1/16 of an inch of differences here and there, which in my opinion are not enough to make much of a difference. Okay, especially when you're buying a gun off the shelf. If you're getting a custom stock, it's a whole different deal. These are off-the-shelf guns. Length of pole on the Beretta, they are usually come with the 18mm pad in the back, which gives you a length of pole of 14.5 inches with the trigger dead center, where on the Rizzini, it's going to be a 14.75 with a rubber style pad, about 15mm, with the trigger dead center. Now, a major difference between the two guns, and this is why I actually own a Rizzini BR460, is the grip. The grip radius and the size of the grip. My hands are 8 1/8 inches long. So when I grab almost every gun on the shelf, I set my hand all the way back on the trigger, and as you can see, my trigger finger touches the front of the trigger guard, so it over travels by a lot. Where on the Rizzini, if I set my hand all the way back, my finger is actually all the way back, and I actually have to move the trigger slightly back. So if you have big hands, the Rizzini most likely will feel a little bit more comfortable, my opinion. Okay, moving on to the triggers. Both guns will have detachable triggers. So to remove the Rizzini, it is very similar from the Perazzi. Set your gun down, your safety, which is on the top of the receiver, push your safety all the way forward and hold, and the trigger comes out on your hands. Where on the DT11, you have your safety, push your trigger. I like to start from scratch on the DT11 to not miss any step. So push it all the way down to safety, put it one more time on fire, and then using both thumbs, push it all the way forward, and you're gonna have a small little dot come from the bottom of the safety. At that point, open your top lever and your trigger comes out on your hands. So trigger differences between the two. DT11, leaf springs right on the bottom. Rizzini, coil springs inside of this black square right here. Which one is better? That's a debate. I couldn't tell you which one is better. I have shot both of these guns a lot. I think they're both great, as you would expect from a guns on the competition level at this price point. So they're both great. But Pedro, leaf springs tend to be crisper, but coil springs, whatever works for you. The truth is, the biggest debate on the Perazzi that I hear is leaf springs versus coil springs. Which one is better trigger? If I gave them both to you, you probably couldn't tell the difference. They're both so good already that for trigger pulls talk, they're both going to be great, crisp triggers. Okay. Again, on shotguns, I don't want a 3-pound trigger, a 2.5-pound trigger. You don't want that, because it's a moving gun. This is not like a pistol where it's easily controllable. This is a 12-gauge gun, so there will be some movement. I don't want anything happening where I can double fire by tapping the trigger, being too light. Okay, so to me, I probably like a 3.7 in the first pull and at about a 4.2 in the second pull. That will be the perfect trigger. Okay, so both guns, there you have it, detachable triggers. Both are adjustable triggers. On the DT11, you have a tiny little screw on the trigger. You loosen that up, trigger moves back and forth. On the Rizzini, you have a button right here. Press it, moves back and forth. Designs are great, neither one is better than the other. As long as the trigger moves and stays put, that's pretty much all you want. Moving on to the locking system. So let me take these guns apart. Oh, both selective triggers. On the DT11, you're gonna have on the safety, where on the Rizzini, you're gonna have right behind the trigger right there, like a Perazzi. On the Rizzini, I would recommend engaging the safety, switching the barrel selector, and then engaging the safety and disengaging the safety again, just to make sure it clears your inertia block when moving. So hopefully you can see in the video, move side to side right there. The locking systems on these guns are completely different. Okay, on the Beretta DT11, as we talked about before, you have that cross bolt that goes over top of the barrels. In each case, right here, you still have your hinge pins, you have your recoil shoulders, and here you have where the locking bolt goes over and holds your barrel in place. On the Rizzini, it is a boss style action. Here we go. You have your hinge pins, your deep relief recoil shoulders carved out of the monoblock like a boss action, and your locking bolt fits on the bottom right here. So which locking bolt is better on this case? I don't think there's a better one on this case. I just think that the design of the recoil shoulders on a boss style action to me is a better design. Which gun should I buy just because of the design of the boss action between these two? Doesn't matter. They're very different feeling guns. So they are both being showed one against the other, not because one is better, but so you guys can tell the size differences, the styles of locking bolts, and which is going to make a yes or no determination is going to be the grip, like I showed you before. So, and then you have on the Beretta chromium line barrels, longer forcing cones. That's another question that I ask all the time is, what about the how long forcing cones they have? Well, the DT11 has the longest forcing cone of everything else. However, DT11, Zoli Z Sport, BR460, Kohlers, Parazzis, they are so similar in recoil. It's hard for you to tell a person, oh, this has less recoil than the other. They are very, very similar. They are very, very soft shooting. So the main key factor is going to be which gun fits you better right out of the bat. Now, that would never be how I would purchase a gun. Go out on the shelf, pick the one that fits me better. That to me is the completely wrong way to go about it. I would pick the gun that feels good in my hands, and then I would make it fit. That's the proper way of buying a competition gun. You can buy a entry-level gun, your very first gun, with the one that fits the best. That's okay, because you don't know what you don't know, and you probably don't have a solid mount yet. But when you step up to the competition level of competition level guns, don't buy the gun that fits better. Buy the gun that feels good and make that gun fit. That would be your best choice. That's my advice for people that want to step up to the competition world. Go over, pick the gun, whatever it looks like that you like, however it feels like that you like, and then have it fitted and adjusted to you. That is the proper way of buying a competition level gun. Okay? Moving on to the barrels. These guns will come in 30 or 32 inch. Again, right or left-handed, with or without adjustable comb. Both guns will have extended chokes. Beretta Optima HP for the DT11, or the Rizzini XL bore on the BR460. The barrels, let's weight them. I have a scale right here, so you can kind of tell the weight differences between the two barrels, which is a big determining factor for people. So on the barrels, on the Rizzini, let's change it to grams. Rizzini, you have 1,600 grams even with chokes. Beretta, you have 1,540 grams for the DT11. Now, why so much difference between the two there? Well, it is like the same thing what happens to Parazzi. Their barrels are way heavier than all the other manufacturers because of the giant monoblock. So on the Rizzini BR460, even though this barrel is 40 grams, it's 60 grams heavier, which is a noticeable 60 grams. It is not a noticeable forward 60 grams. It is a noticeable in the middle 60 grams right here. Similar to a Parazzi High-Tech, let's say, where the weight of that gun, it's not forward, it's not back. It is right on the action. So it's you can feel it when you touch this gun. It sits on your hand right in the middle. That's why I ended up getting one. I really enjoyed that. Now, the DT11, even though it has a heavier action than most guns, and it does have kind of the similar feeling, it's just even more on the BR460. But on the DT11, you do feel the weight of the gun right on the forend. Again, the gun does not tip forward, but the weight of the gun is a little bit on your forend between these two here that I'm measuring right now compared to the Rizzini where it's right on the action. Some people love the weight on the action. Some people don't like it. Some people like a little bit forward. So that's a good way for you to know too which gun will be right. Now, watching a video, listening to some dude talk like me about which gun will be right, which gun will be wrong, it is a step into choosing your competition gun. You already know that you have to choose the gun that feels good and then get fitted. Watch all the videos, read everything about it so you can learn more about the guns. Again, there's a lot of hair splitting when it comes to these guns because they're all a little different from one or the other. Every manufacturer thinks that they make the best gun in the world. So the way to find out is go to a very large competition. Why? Because on large competitions, for example, like the Nationals in San Antonio, the manufacturers will be at that shoot. And that's where you would go and demo all of these guns. And that's how you're going to find out which one of these guns is the best fit for you. The BR460 starting at 8,500, the DT11 starting at 10,900. So it's a little bit of a price difference, but let's just say you hate the 460 the way it feels and love the DT11, the $2,000 is kind of worth it because if you don't like the gun, and vice versa. So go out to the major shoots, shoot these guns, find out which one was the one that felt the best. Don't worry about the fit, that's my opinion. Go to a gun fitter and have the gun fitter fit that gun properly to you. Now, variations of these guns you will also find on the previous videos. I will cover it very quickly. So you have DT11 sporting variations, 30, 32 inch, extended chokes, right or left-handed, with and without adjustable comb. Then you have the skeet variations, international skeet 28 inches fluted barrel, American skeet 30 inches ventilated side ribs. Then you have the ACS model on Beretta, 1/2 inch adjustable rib, X-strap model, which is a 1 inch adjustable rib. On the Rizzini side, you have sporting configuration, 30 and 32 inches, right or left hand with extended chokes. You have the X model, which is a step rib 3/8 higher than the flat rib. It's a fixed 3/8 rib. And then you have the IPS, which is a 1/2 inch adjustable rib. So you have those options. Pick the gun that's right for you. I hope I have clarified some questions. Again, go out and try it. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.